painting is worth $100 million.
They shut off the air to drive out the tourists. Then they close the gates to keep everybody out. Diversion. Make a lot of noise over there. So over here in this room, you can take $100 million off the wall and waltz right out the front door. Oh, that's good.
Oh, yes.
All right, that's the scene from the movie The Thomas Crown Affair. Pierce Brosnan ripping off millions in high-priced art. Well, that sort of thing does not just happen in the movies. Big-time art heists rampant in Los Angeles back in the 90s. Hundreds of valuable pieces stolen from the rich and famous, including a Picasso. Here's some of them right here. You're getting a good look. But now, cops may have finally had a big break in the case. Moments ago, LAPD announced they have recovered more than 100 stolen paintings and artifacts.
We received a telephone call from a reputable auction house who indicated that through their due diligence, they had came across some art that they believed to have been stolen. The suspects would break into the residence while the homeowners were away and handpick some of the art and personal property as well as artifacts, some of them that are displayed here today.
Fascinating case here. So let's bring in Larry Lawton, president of Lawton 911. Larry, at one time, the most infamous jewel thief in the country, spent 11 years in federal prison, but a changed man. He's an author, motivational speaker, and helps police solve big-time cases. Larry, good to see you again. So you were a jewel thief. Did you ever think about getting into art?
Well, actually, I could have. I had an associate actually tell me, hey, Larry, do you want... there's probably $50 million worth of artwork down in the Miami Convention Center. Do you want it? And I made some phone calls, and you couldn't get rid of it on pennies on the dollar. So if you had $1 million picture and you couldn't get 2%, 3%, it's not worth the robbery. But most robberies aren't that big. But this one is pretty good.
Interesting. So that's because the way it went down in Los Angeles back in the 90s, it sounds like homes of the wealthy were burglarized. So you're saying that's pretty tough to make some money out of that, because that's, I think, us as laymen want to know, well, where do you sell this stuff? How are you going to get any cash for that?
Well, most of those robberies are probably robberies. They were looking for jewels or other smaller items they could get rid of. They come across a painting or something of value they think is, they'll take it. And the reason it really took so long, Mike, I believe, is they either were playing the long game, which means they were keeping it in wherever they thought they could keep it until the heat went down and maybe somebody went to prison and they got caught in another robbery, and then they had this kind of stuff. Auction houses, the good ones, are the ones who find most of this stuff because people don't know where to go to get rid of it. And a suggestion of people with any artwork, and most of your artwork, Mike, is maybe a $30,000 piece or a $50,000 piece, is take a pencil and on the back of it, put a dot. Don't put a name. Don't put a date. Just put a dot in the top right corner or the bottom left corner, wherever you think you want to put it. It's an identifying mark for you to claim what you say is yours, because a lot of times the police can't prove whose it is. Interesting. There's a Picasso right there. What kind of homework does the art thief do? Whether you're zeroing in on a home or because you got to know who has it, how you going to get in and take it. Well, it goes back to everything, Mike. It goes back to casing the place, whether it could have been a delivery person or a person who's a repairman went in there and has connections and says, hey, listen, I went into this house and there's some beautiful paintings on the lights and they really look beautiful. He might have took, well, in today's world, they take a picture. In the 90s, the criminals didn't have the resources of the internet to really go and look up products and find out what they are. The police now are pretty good at that. They put up stolen artwork on website. People who rob it now, it's a harder item to get rid of. And they're insured, like Lloyd's of London, Chubb is one of the biggest ones. They're insurance carriers that high-end artwork. And obviously, if you have a $50,000 painting, you would insure it just like you would a car. Wow. Hey, Larry, always good to see you again. Larry Lawton joining us, a changed man, helping police now and helping us have a better understanding of a case like this. And it sounds like a crime 2 decades old may have been finally solved. Larry, thanks again. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, Mike.